All right. Part deux.
Part deux. Deux, quatre, quatre. This is a fun conversation with Mike Ehmcke, a good friend of mine, someone whom I met at a Star Wars convention, and it just took off. The fun of hanging out with him and talking to him has took off, and it just continues. And as you can tell, like this conversation still had legs long after we pressed stop on the record button. We kept talking, and we're sorry we couldn't bring all that to you, but we already decided we're going to do another episode with Mike, which is going to be a first. Like, there's no one who's ever been on Moped Outlaws for 3 episodes that I'm aware of, that I can remember. What was your experience like, Greg?
Well, I got to say, it's a super geeky thing. Like, you guys got into realms of audio mixing that were way over my head, and I appreciate the passion involved. So there's always an appreciation for passion. I will say, for any audiophiles and engineers, yeah,
Audio engineers, yep.
Yeah, out in the world, you will really appreciate this episode.
And if you ever wondered what those knobs are all about, and you're not an audio engineer, it might be worth checking out.
Yeah, it was very revealing and entertaining. And yeah, like you said, part 3.
All right, so please subscribe. Please support Blast and the Compton Cowboys. And we look forward to doing more. And thanks for listening.
Sis, hallo?
Blijven.
Stuur zeker wegen dem.
Wil je iets niet, joh?
Two outlaws on the lam, taking the back roads through America.
You can't drink enough coffee for this show.
And now it's time for Monday Madness with the Moped Outlaws, Greg and Mark.
And welcome back to Moped Outlaws episode with Mike from the We Be Geeks podcast collective. Episode 2. It might run concurrently. It might be 2 separate episodes. It's a mystery to us right now, but you currently understand and know. Thanks for joining us again, Mike. It was really fun talking to you. We wanted to do it right away. And I heard you and Greg talked about some things after I bounced really quickly.
Yes, and the series that Greg recommended to me, I could not watch because it's behind a paywall.
What was it? Pluribus?
No.
Tales from the Loop.
No, I want to say it began with an H.
We'd have to.
I don't remember.
So a series that we thought we could watch that we couldn't watch that was recommended that none of us can remember. Welcome to Middle Age and Beyond on the Moped Outlaws podcast.
Yes. Well, we were, when we concluded part 1, Mike was telling us about all the Dave Grohl documentaries about sound studios. And
yeah.
That were spurned from our concluding.
Sound City, Sonic Highways. Yeah. That spurred from the final question.
Yes.
From last time.
Yeah. We also, I had gotten a little testy with Greg about this film that George made called Strange Magic, which was basically one of the final films he released under Lucasfilm, which is an animated film.
Yes.
Full of all kinds of amazing songs. And I did a little research on it. It turns out it came from George's imagination as part of something he was telling, a story that he was telling his daughters. He used to kind of have a nighttime story, and then he had some folks decide go ahead and make it into a film. And there's a lot of great music, including a Michael Franti song and some other great classics. And for those of you who haven't seen every George Lucas release on Lucasfilm, you still have one more, Strange Magic. I highly recommend it. Cool.
That
music.
That backstory kind of reminds me a little bit of the Stephen King novel that he wrote originally as a bedtime tale for his kids.
Oh my God.
And that got turned into a book, and that's Eyes of the Dragon.
Oh.
And okay. I would love to see that turned into a movie, but I don't think he'll ever
allow it because it's personal.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think if it happens, it'd be after he dies, and that's if his kids will allow it to happen. But it's such a great tale, set in
Did you
medieval times.
did you ever read the Golden Compass series?
No, just never got into that one.
Really, I totally got into it, and it's they've never been able to bring it to screen satisfactorily. In my
It's sort of like the Lion with
Witch in the Wardrobe.
Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
no, that was close. The last one that had Oprah Winfrey in it.
Oh,
Wiz.
yeah, Wrinkle in Time.
Yes, that's been done twice, and
It still
it's-
falls flat. I mean, that book, you just can't
Did-
make a movie out of that book very well.
You can, but you have to be willing to go into it knowing only 1% is going to like it. If because of the religious undertones, because of some of the other undertones, it's either you skirt it and just barely graze on those lines, or you just go full tilt and do it. And Hollywood wants to just graze.
Did you? So you saw the Oprah Winfrey version?
No, I've seen the original. I refused. I just by the trailers, I knew that they skirted the lines again. I'm like, this is not the book.
Yeah. Some things are worth doing the way they're supposed to be done, even though the audience might be limited.
Yes.
Did either of you, or maybe both of you, read that series? I think it was called the Benedictine Honor Society. The kids that end up at that honor school on this island.
I have not, but I think it's been turned into a.
It did, and that's another one that they butchered the books.
My daughters watched it.
Did they like it?
If she did, she did.
We're letting the dog out for those of you who are wondering what this pause and energetic reflection. And those of you who are watching, it's a apparitional appearance is lighting Mike's face. It's hot there, isn't it?
Yeah. When I was in the car earlier, the car registered 103.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No.
And it's muggy.
Currently it is 95 degrees with a heat index of we pay attention to the heat index like crazy here.
We're geeking out in here.
Feels like 97.
Oh no, thank you. No, thank you.
And you're getting ready to go play hockey.
Yes.
That's fun. How did you
Get on
come
the
to
ice.
be interested in hockey, Mike?
The family moved around a lot, and when we moved to New York, I was in middle school, and part of our PE there was floor hockey. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get in net because I used to play goalie in soccer, so just easy transition. And just fell in love with it. And where I was in New York, it was either the Rangers, the Islanders, or the New Jersey Devils. Well, I linked myself towards the Jersey Devils because at the time, that's when they were using their red, green, and white color scheme. But I loved the logo, how it was the N and the J was turned into the horns and the tail. It was awesome. So I followed that, and then we moved further north into New York, and I just kept the love. And then moved to Louisiana, started playing roller hockey around the same time that I met my wife, and was a roller hockey player for a while, and then
Always in the goal?
Yeah. And then the one rink I was going to here had no roof. Florida, well, it rains twice a day. And so we would get canceled from playing. I'm like, screw this. Went online, found a pair of goalie skates at a very reasonable price on a closeout. picked him up and started playing ice hockey. I haven't looked back.
How
So
long
is-
ago was that?
Switching to ice. 2001, 2002.
Wow. That's a long haul.
Is floor and roller blades as physical as ice hockey is?
It's definitely, as a goalie, it's definitely harder because you don't get the glide and the slide with the blades because the wheels will stick. And for me to get what I was wanting slide wise, I had to go so hard with the wheels that when I did try and skate, I had no grip to move. So I was like constantly slipping around and like, trying to get back to the bench. It's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, no. So I never found the right hardness for the wheels for net. So
Yeah. Do you enjoy, like, is there something that's spiritually cleansing about the physical chaos that you're immersed in as a goalie?
as a goalie, well, even just playing in general, because there are a few times I'll skate out, but 99.5% I'm in net. Just crossing onto the ice, through the gates or the doors onto the ice from off ice to on ice. Once I'm on the ice, I don't even think about the outside world. I am I'm in that fishbowl. All I'm worried about is the other people on the ice. If I'm in net, I'm worried about trying to keep the puck out. I do talk to myself a lot when I'm in net. But I come find out that even with the pros, they do the same thing. They talk
So are
to
those like
themselves.
affirmations? You got this, or are you thinking about
Some-
strategy? What do you?
For me, it's just if I try to more keep myself focused in the games, like I got this, or shot goes out, it's like, all right, then I kind of analyze what happened with the play. What did I do wrong? I try and do an immediate instant replay of, okay, I should have done this. I should have done that. Or I was reading his hands, not the puck type thing. And it's more that, as I'm cleaning our front bedroom to become our guest bedroom / my podcast studio, which I'm decorating Star Wars themed, like a smuggler's den. Mustard yellow comforter, beige sheets, dark brown pillowcases. Like, yeah, I want to go that type of smuggler's den type vibe. I found one of my pucks, and like a milestone puck, and it was the puck for when I got my first shutout.
Oh, wow.
And during that game, it's like, okay, we scored. First period, I didn't think about it. Second period, like, okay, and midway through the second period, it's like, okay, we just scored again. The score is 0-0. Keep it 0-0. I didn't even look back at the scoreboard. I tried to avoid looking at the scoreboard. All I kept looking forward and just kept saying, it's 0. They score? Cool. 0-0. 0-0. It's a tie game. It's a tie game. And when we ended, the captain came up to me and goes, congrats on the shutout. I said, this is my first. He goes, I'll be right back. He went, got the puck, brought it back to me and goes, here's your your puck for your first shutout. And I still have it. And that was 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no small feat.
No.
Those things are fast and they're very, very lethal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So their Jedi reflexes necessary in order to deal with being a goalie for sure.
Yes. What I'll do is, Mark, I'll text you pictures of my goalie mask, and then you can forward those over to Greg.
Yeah, maybe we'll put them on the website or something. I don't know. So as you continue to, like, I'm 63, so physical fitness for me is tricky. But as you continue to age, how long do you think you can keep playing hockey?
I'm going to keep going as long as I can. I mean, I just got diagnosed a couple weeks ago with possible arthritis in the lower back, 2 discs that are offset, and a sciatica nerve pinch, which is literally a pain in the ass right now.
That's terrible.
I walked into the doctor and they go, "So what's going on today?" I'm like, "I have a pain in the ass." And they know me as being a smart ass. And they go, I'm like, "No, this is one of those times I'm being serious. It's a pain in the ass."
Wow.
I mean, to walk, to sleep, to sit, whatever, it's just constant pain. It just does not go away no matter what I do. But they kept, they told me, keep playing. It's the only way to stay flexible and help keep things going.
Are you using any alternative treatments like acupuncture or chiropractic?
Not yet. I'm trying to see if I could get back into the acupuncturist that I used to use around the time that my dad passed away. So, I mean, I'm not keen on acupuncture, but man, do cupping. I'll take cupping all day. Oh, I love cupping. It's something about, feeling the suction and everything up into the cup. It's great. I'm already feeling my shoulders relax just thinking about cupping.
That's brilliant. It always looks so extreme, afterwards. It looks like you just went through a torture session.
It feels great.
I hear you.
It feels great.
In my mind, there's this undercurrent element of geekiness that is a bit anarchy. It's a bit like one is very much attuned to their own drum and very strong in that manner. And I guess this is sort of a 2-part question. Do you think this generalization in my head hole has some reality to it? And if so, are you very much engaged in being the author of your well-being and your healthcare?
The second part, yeah, my well-being, my healthcare. In many ways, the journey started in 2020 with COVID. I was one of those people. It's like, if I get the vaccine, I get the vaccine. I had the vaccine and the booster, and I still ended up with COVID in 2021. And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, all right, cool. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to survive. It was just, to me, it was that whole Darwin aspect. If a facility said, must wear a mask, cool, I wore a mask. Disney said, gotta wear a mask, wore a mask. We were told if we were in the area where we were by ourselves or was able to space, we could take the mask off. Well, a lot of the areas I was in, I was by myself. So once I got there, the mask came off. People knocked before they came into the area, so I had time to put the mask back on because I knew someone was coming in. So, but that December, I had been having knee problems, and that December I had knee surgery. And that was the start of 6 surgeries since December of 20.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm taking care of myself. And
Was the 6 surgeries because of infection from the initial one?
No, it was all because of the business I chose. I mean, I came into the entertainment industry when OSHA was involved, but they kind of let us police our own safety, and we were still safe. But the way we did things was completely different and was still thrill seeking. Whereas now it's like, if we tried any of what we did back when I got started, we wouldn't be allowed to do it now. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going into this industry.
We've all heard the Tom Cruise stories and what he does. And do you think, like, the safety protocol you're talking about, it seems like Tom has the clout, the ability to bypass those in some manner?
Oh no, he's still being safe. I mean,
well, I believe he believes he's being very safe, but there is that famous story Matt Damon said about the Dubai scene where he's on the outside of the building swinging around, and Matt asked him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, my stunt coordinator, the head safety guy, said you can't do that, so I got a new safety guy."
If I would think if he felt the stunt could be done and done safely, then yeah, I would keep going until I found someone who said, yeah, I can help you do this safely.
Right.
I know, like when he was doing the whole thing off the side of the plane.
Yeah.
He was safety cabled there. I mean, it was a very thin cable, but strong enough to handle any pull. So if he let go, he wasn't going to crash, but man, he was going to get beat up by the plane bouncing around on the back.
Right. Right. And I think the motorcycle stunt off the cliff on that last was pretty much like it was his own skill set that was involved with his safety.
I mean, yes, he's known for doing a lot of his own stunts, but I'm quite sure there are safety coordinators out there going, we'll help you push that limit, but just know this is the limit we can't do without shutting down production.
And he'll take a second unit guy out at midnight and tell nobody.
I'm really interested to see what he's going to do next.
It almost feels like there's nothing for him to do next. Like the whole Mission Impossible thing is kind of gone. It's
I
want
to see Haley Atwell take a lead for the continuation of the series. I really liked her role in the last 2 films.
It was good. Yeah.
And that felt like it was almost setting her up to be the new Ethan Hawke type character to continue the franchise.
We got dogs.
Somebody's home.
That'd be Zoe, the kid.
Right. Sweet.
Yay, we love dogs on this show.
Did you ever see Night and Day, the Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz film?
No.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's so good. Like Cameron Diaz's comedic chops and her ability to do action was just perfect match for Tom's kind of humor,
Straight
dry
man.
humor. Well, dry humor, is like when they go, "You're the guy, I'm the guy."
Tom Cruise's humor is so dry. British humor looks like a hurricane.
I love it though. I love it. It wasn't great what they did, but I'm spacing out the name, the army guy, the special forces guy, and he did 2 of the films, and then Amazon did a great series.
Born on the 4th of July?
No. This is recent. And they have that huge guy who's now playing. Oh my God, come on.
You need a booster coffee before you come on the show, and when we record in the afternoon, don't you?
Anyway, there's a great scene where Tom's escaping the bad guys, and he's in a car, and the car's rolling, and he gets into a crowd by a bus stop, and this guy hands him a hat, and he like pulls it down over his eyes, and just the interaction, nothing said, but there was a humor. I think it's his sort of defiance to authority that I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yes.
Are we talking Jack Reacher?
That's
Jack
it.
Reacher films?
Yeah. Yes. Reacher. Yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was a very good blend of dramatic and comedic on his part. If there was a film to say, no, he can't do both. No, Edge of Tomorrow, he could do both. Yeah, he proved he could do both.
Yeah.
Well, and at this stage in his career, he's probably looking for a strong dramatic role to show that level of depth, right? Because he's pretty much an action star. That's like how people have him pegged. So getting him to actually show some real acting chops and be, well, not that those aren't real acting chops. Let me rephrase that. have another genre specific kind of skill set that is really all about emoting and creating tension with your body and with the way that you phrase something or say something. And I'm curious, like there's a whole other side to it, which is, the whole thing that is part of his religion, which isn't really a religion, right? It's a cultural phenomenon, and how secretive and, guarded, and, he's literally basically the president at this point of Scientology on a certain level.
Maybe. We don't know for sure, right?
Well, the reporters that I've heard speak about it are pretty clear that it's him and one other dude that are in charge of it. And it's such an interesting phenomenon because, L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer, and he invented this thing, and it's like caught on for people, right? And in a similar way, there's other science fiction shows that we could talk about where people have a very similar emotional connection to it, right? But I don't think they go quite as far to invent machines and have,
So Mark, would you say Scientology, I'm going to go deep on this one.
Okay.
Is led by the Sith and the followers are all Inquisitors?
Wow. That's a great genre crossing question. My experience with Scientology is relatively limited. So in terms of people that I've interacted with who are practitioners, I've never really felt a strong connection with them. I felt one person in particular who I happen to have a friendship with through my partner is very much involved in, and I think there's 2 branches now of it.
Okay.
And so my experience with this friend is what an incredibly warm, bright, wonderful human being they are. And there's this accessibility and emotional depth and breadth that's there that I would not consider the Sith. And there's also this real strong capacity for boundaries. Like there's absolutely no like way of pushing her off her center or her feeling like she has to prove herself to you or engage in a conversation that doesn't feel good to her. So
have you asked her about Scientology before?
A little bit, not much.
Is she?
I know that she's
in that
expert level. She went to like the college for it and is, but I think she's in in a separate branch from what we would consider the Tom Cruise version. Like I do think there are 2 branches at least that I'm aware of.
All right, so let me ask you guys: do you think there's potential that 100 years from now, Scientology might be viewed as a religion the way Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, Hindu? Like, is it time that gives credence to these practices?
It all starts somewhere. I mean,
right.
Judaism is of the Western world, Eastern world, Western world. Judaism is the foundation of the other religions. Because from Judaism came Christianity.
Right.
And then from Judaism and Christianity came the most recent, which is Islam.
I think it's more accurate to say they're all Abrahamic in their origins.
Right.
Yes.
So they don't necessarily follow the branch from each other necessarily, although Christ was a Jew. So that one, yeah. But I think there's a separate path for the
Islam
followers of Muhammad.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Isaac and is it Isaac and Abraham?
Yeah. Abraham being the father of both religions, Judaism and Islam, in a sense. Well, I don't know if but yeah, it seems they both are following the same history of spiritual.
Well, and isn't it funny? The father of Judaism was never Jewish.
Well, that makes sense.
The father, the quote unquote founder or father of Christianity was never a Christian. I don't know about Islam.
Buddha was never a Buddhist. He was just Siddhartha.
The spaghetti monster was never really a monster.
Or spaghetti.
But
although I've eaten some scary spaghetti in my time.
Well, but Pizza the Hut was tasty.
Yes, that's true. So it's back to your original question. I think that there's an aspect of control in the other branch of Scientology that does have what you call like Sith-like qualities, because you are so controlled. You just like, this is your narrow path. It's this or the highway. You're out, right? If you don't follow that. And I think that is a little bit more intense than my experience of some of the more, like I haven't seen Greek Orthodox Catholicism, but I've been close to Russian Orthodox Catholicism. And even though there's rigid adherence in that environment, love makes it supple and flexible. And forgiveness and the recognition of all of our own personal journeys being so incredibly important to our personal development. And then we all need to be recognized that we're capable of great flaws.
You know, that brings up, my son and I were kind of debating. We had been to a wedding, and part of the vows were the famous quote from the Bible of the wife serves the husband and is subservient to the husband, and the husband loves the wife. Those are the two main pillars of promise in this marriage ceremony we were at.
I don't think we had that in ours.
Well, not even, we just were at another wedding this weekend, and that wasn't part of it. But we went to my sister, who's Christian, and asked her about this. And she had a very interesting answer. She also wasn't feeling well, so it was a brief answer, and we didn't get into it. She said, have you ever been unconditionally loved? And both my son and I answered yes. And she said, and how did you feel? And in essence, we both said, wonderful, you know, from that unconditional love. And she said, I believe the man has the hardest promise in that agreement. That to unconditionally love the wife is the most challenging of the two vows. So
obedience is easier than unconditional love?
That was what she said.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And you think about it, like if you're obedient to someone who unconditionally loves you, they're probably not demanding much at all, if ever. And when something does come up that in essence is an order or a demand that is not understood,
right,
coming from that place of love.
Please don't quote me on this.
We're in
Should we pause
trouble.
the recording?
No, keep it recording.
Wait, rewind.
This is going to be one of those times if I put my foot in my mouth
It's all
scenario.
good.
But I don't remember if it's in the Bible. I don't remember where I heard it, whether it was a science thing or not. But it was the man's job is to plant the seed. So for a woman to stay loyal to a man, yes, man stay loyal to a woman. Ideally should if you're in love. But if the man sleeps around, supposedly it was okay because he's trying to plant the seed, grow the population.
So you're making the argument for polygamy. Now we're in Utah.
This
We're
show
gonna get all
is
the
not.
religions in.
This show is sponsored by Utah. No, it's just something I heard. Do I buy into it? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I on the 15th just celebrated 30 years.
Wow!
Congratulations.
That's right.
So, yeah, and in September will be our 34th anniversary as a couple.
Wow.
This day and age, that's extremely rare.
Yeah.
For me in the industry, being in the industry, that's really rare.
Right, because the demands on your time vis-a-vis your demands on the family are really at odds with each other, right?
Yep.
Holidays, Saturday night, Sunday morning, like you have to be there.
Yeah.
And it's only after a fair amount of seniority that you get a little bit relief from that, but you're never completely relieved because all it takes is one person to call in sick, and as then you're as the lead or whatever.
The joy is if someone calls in sick and it's my day off, I can say no. And most of the times, depending on what the position is that they're needing filled, I say no.
That's great.
Because
now,
it's like,
are you IATSE?
Yes. And I'll say it here because I've said it to the president's face. Our local's a joke. Absolute joke.
Is IATSE Teamster?
It's the Stagehands Union.
Yeah.
Okay.
It covers.
Go
ahead, Mike. No, you.
Our local is a joke, and I mean, when they do the negotiations for our contracts with Disney, it's like, this is the game Disney's playing. Learn that game and beat them at it instead of catering to them. So when they cater to us, it looks like we won. When in reality, it's they toyed around with us for weeks just to see how far and how strong they could unify the cast.
Yeah, it's
That's
rough.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my personal experience with the union was at Safeway, and the union leaders would come in, and to me, it was like Animal Farm. I couldn't tell them apart from the Safeway management. And I remember one night, a gentleman and his wife I learned they were commuting 2 hours each way to get to Safeway. And I'm like, well, there's Safeways all over the place. Can't the union help you get to a Safeway closer to your own? They had kids, He said, we've been trying for 3 years.
Yeah.
The force is strong in the dark side.
If the unions are strong enough, they could show their will, and it could be a good thing. When they're weak, the only reason why I'm a member of the union here is so I can vote on the contracts whenever they you know, when they come up
So you're in a right to work state?
Yep.
So you could theoretically continue your position at your
Mm.
company without necessarily being a member of the union. Would
Yep.
you enjoy the benefits the same benefits if you did that way?
Yeah. I would still get the representation and everything else. It's just not being in the union may be a little slower handling my case
Mm.
than if I was a member.
Mm. Is that the child behind you?
Yes.
All right.
You were talking earlier off air
Do you
about
remember
how.
Marc? That's Mr. Marc from Celebrate.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I know you can't hear me. Yeah. So you said, Mike, that your daughter was interested in following her own career in audio. So before you tell us about her, tell me a little bit about your role. Are you considered an A1 in your situation? And what's it like for you?
I can be either an A1 or an A2, depending on location. Typically, if I'm running a daily op stage, like the band in the UK pavilion, I'm technically the A1 and L1 because I'm doing both lighting. I'm doing the lights and the audio. It's a one-man tech show. So if I'm go to the main stage where our national talent comes in, I could be an audio assist. I could also run monitors there and be the A2. I can also run front of house and be A1. I'm trained in all three of the audio positions. So for me, it's almost easier to say, yes, I am an audio engineer with Walt Disney World. I am definitely, I would say I would put myself up there in probably this is from what I've heard from a manager that is high up in the management ranks for entertainment. He feels that I'm one of the top 5 front of house guys on property.
Nice.
So
what is
yeah, I've earned it.
What is the most critical element of being able to be considered one of the top guys? Like, what is the skill set? Why is it true about you?
For front of house, it's I think the artistic ability that I put to my mix. It's just the mix in general. What's the blend? What's the how does it sound? Am I staying within proper levels? How I approach the mix of like EQing, compression, all the different elements. It's just how much is my mix appreciated by the management, but more importantly, how much is the mix appreciated by the guests? Such as with UK, I can mix a show and get a crowd response like crazy. That's very energetic that the band just keeps feeding off of. Someone else could run that exact same show the next day and the audience could still be flat.
Now, are you pushing subs for that? What do you think is the secret sauce for that reaction that you're creating?
The fact that I'm willing to play, like work the effects, change my verb times, change my delay times. Some songs I use the delay almost like the delay fader, almost like a paintbrush or a wah-wah type thing where I'm writing the fader up and down. But I'm constantly, every song, changing the delay, changing the verb times.
You,
Uh,
you, you guys are
the,
talking about a factor that, in my mind, this is brand new to me. Like I've always attributed a live show to the artists on the stage. You know, like if I see a Prince show and it's off the hook, it was because Prince is a badass. But now I'm hearing you
yes,
say, but yeah, I'm hearing you say there's an element to the board guy that is bringing in that extra flavor that just lifts an auditorium off the surface of the earth into the
I,
astrospheres.
I, yeah, you can almost say the talent's almost like the chefs in the kitchen, and the board up, lighting board, the lighting up, the audio engineer, or the waiters delivering that to the audience.
Mm, that's a
Um,
great way to look at it. Yeah. So
the, I mean,
if you're not good, the
we,
food comes out cold.
I mean, if the talent's cold, then there's only so much we could do.
Right.
But for me, um, I've used the phrase in the past: if you give me shit, my job is to gold plate or make that shit as shiny as possible so people enjoy it.
Yeah.
If the talent, if I have something great to work with from the get go, so much easier.
Have you ever mixed a Prince or an Elton John or anyone in that caliber?
Uh, Closest I've done is local acts. I've done monitors for the when we had Disney talent on the stage. I did front of house. I did do front of house for when we brought the candlelight processional back to Epcot. I did run front of house for quite a few shows on that. And that one I really enjoyed because we had two people running the console. One person was in charge of the orchestra, and the other person was in charge of the voices, and I had the voices. And for me, I pride myself on my vocal mix and my vocal blends. And for me, that's the challenge: is how quick can I get those blends? Um, Especially with candlelight, it's like, okay, here's the mic. Who in what group, sopranos, altos, whatnot, who's the strongest? Oh, the person underneath that mic's not that strong. I need to bury that just a little bit more. But this person's great. I could compensate. And then, of course, having Voices of Liberty as well. Doing all of that and focusing. It prior to me going to that stage, it's like, okay, how do the vocals sound? My crew chief, who was the primary A1 for that stage, he encouraged and managed to teach me how to, with the vocals, especially like Voices of Liberty, they're a cappella. They do be able to pick out a single voice and hear the rest of the group at the same time. I was struggling forever. It was like, I can't hear just the one person within the blend. I can't. I mean, yeah, if they did it solo, but if I knew someone was feeling sick and I needed to adjust, I can't hear just that one person. All of a sudden, after about 2 weeks, and I was kind of forcing it. I was tired. I'm like, I talked to I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm not getting it. He goes, you got to try, but you can't force it. I'm like, all right, cool. He goes, just give up on it for the rest of today. Do your shows the way you do. They're great shows. Come back to it. That next show, all of a sudden, I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing the separation within the blend. It was that awakening. And I'm like, holy crap. Okay. It's totally changed my mix. And anywhere I go, I'm the same way. We go see a concert. I'm able to get that separation. It's a blessing, but
A
in many
curse,
ways,
too.
it's a curse too.
Yeah, because when you go to a show and you can hear the failure or the under they're not addressing the full spectrum of the audio profile that's available to them.
Yeah,
It just calls you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? So this is something you and I could geek out even more, and I'm not sure we need to go there. And
Go for it.
so when you're pulling vocals for men and women, within the categories of women and the categories of men, you still have alto, soprano, baritone, not so much in women with baritone, but still, right? So there's EQ profiles for each of those ranges, right? So what's the secret sauce for not letting the super piercing, horrific ice pick from a woman's vocal mic, right? Because there's so much more high-end range there without dampening the impact.
For me, we're talking about a 4-band EQ. For me, what I prefer to do off a channel strip, I will go about 6.5 to 7K. I will shelve it and do a very tight Q, so it almost does a hard slope, and then leaves the rest of the information at equal level, and I could adjust everything above that up and down like a shelf at equal level and keep the rest of that information there and remove the harshness. Some people will just go and do a low pass filter and just roll it off. You do that, you lose a lot of essence and presence, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Some people will just go in and go, okay, 7K, we're going to scoop it out. Again, you get the same problem. I like keeping the information there, but I want to pick my center point and have it slope off to whatever it says to hit the shelf, and then leave everything. So I still have those frequencies, but they're just ducked.
Got it. There's slight, like -5-ish.
Depends on the person.
Got it.
If they're really shrill, I may go -10, -12
for the shelf.
For the shelf.
Yeah.
If it's just a barely thing, I'll go between -3, -5.
Got it.
But I know you're a bass player.
No, I'm a guitarist. Right.
Well, bass players, something I always do to every bass, I go about 715 or 700 to 715 tight Q, and I bump it up about +5, +6, so I could get that growl back into the bass that a lot of engineers like to scoop out in other locations, and you just lose the beef and the growl of the bass. I throw 700 straight up.
Wow. Up 10 dB or 6-7 dB.
About 5 to 6 dB. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Or sometimes a little less if the bass player is hitting harder.
Right. Okay. One of the things that people say about audio mixing who don't understand it, they don't call them engineers. So explain why twiddling knobs is actually engineering.
Anyone can mix. Anyone can be taught to mix. is catching those nuances of like doing the fader moves for delay, knowing to change. Like for me, I instinctively with the group in UK, when they do a Beatles song and it's something pre-Pepper, I roll the effects down. Typically, I keep my reverb down to 1 second or less. Because the early stuff didn't use, and the more popular Beatles songs that they play, Day Tripper, Saw Her Standing There, not heavy verb, not heavy delay. Come Together, when they do Come Together, I go like 1.7, 1.8, and I'm running delay, and then for the third verse, I change my delay over to a distortion, and I distort the vocals.
Yeah.
For the third verse, and then the fourth verse, I switch back to the distortion for the N1 and 1 and 1 is 3. For that little half verse, I switch back to the distortion, then back to the delay. To try and teach that to someone, some people will get it, some people don't. Describing it to Mark, I know Mark's just going, okay, I need to hear this now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something I do. It's that detail. It's sort of like Brian Epstein was with the Beatles, being that fifth Beatle. And then George Martin in the studio being that fifth Beatle. It's the band's everything, but your audio guy can also make or break you. Lighting, who cares? They're sitting there over there going, oh, bright lights, yay, look what I did. And I pick on my brother about that all the time. Lighting doesn't make or break a show. The audio guy makes or breaks the show.
Yeah, because if you go all white splash, you still got the band there, and they're going to still feel something.
People are still going to see them.
For instance, with Prince, that moment in a song where he uses the scream voice versus when he's doing the subtle, sort of very sexy voice, right? The difference between what you have to do with the engineering of that microphone so that the screen falls right where it needs to instead of blowing you back in your seat. That's an example of how important an engineer is in the environment.
And now with the digital realm, having digital consoles, with that, I would establish that mic on 2 different channels, have one set for when he does the scream. So all the compression, EQing, and everything else is there when he gets into that high energy squeal, scream. And then the other one for when he's laid back being sexy. And all I do is just switch back and forth between the channels.
You pull one out and punch the other one in when you right at the moment, like you're performing with them.
Because let me ask you guys, I'm spacing out the title of the song. Is it I Want You from Purple Rain, where he does that famous falsetto? Nikki. Is it Nikki? Like he's way screaming in a falsetto and he just drops back in. And it seems if you're mixing it the way you're describing, Mike, there's not all like at first, how do you know he's going to do it? Like, are you just always like, are you like a Puma cat? You're just always
if you're on the tour, you know the mannerisms that person's going to do.
Well, isn't part of their artistic creativity though is they're going to change it up a bit to keep their own interest involved?
Well, if you're dancing with someone and they decide they're going to do the spin move, you've got to be ready at any moment to do the spin move when they lead you through it, right?
See, a strong engineer could do that. A mixer cannot.
So do you think the engineers at Prince's shows knew his hand cues that he had created for the band?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Same thing with James Brown. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, they knew the cues.
Fucking badass.
Well, and one of the things that we're getting into now is one of the unfortunate realities that we've reached now is that SMPTE code and MIDI triggers have become a kind of cage around the performance. Like the element of an artist deviating from the program in a way that's artistically embellishing and benefiting the mood. It can be very difficult to do that within the framework of a performance that's got all these timed lighting cues and mixing cues and
Right.
backing tracks and all of those things built
Prime
into it.
example is Taylor Swift.
I was just going to mention it. Did you see her film?
I have not.
It's
So
brilliant.
when you say an example is Taylor Swift, which way do you mean? Is she just tight and locked, or is it that she has a lot of flexibility?
That she's tight and locked. I mean, she's got built-in room for banter, but it's time code and the tracks go, and if that show is a certain order, no matter what, and there's no deviation, no matter what the crowd asks for, there's no deviation.
Yeah, and
I want to say, from what I've seen with Lady Gaga, very similar.
very similar. Yeah, that's true.
But I think
Susan Carpenter, what's her name? Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter is a lot like Taylor Swift, but I think Lady Gaga, she's tight enough that she could go off and veer off track and have them stop track, make the change on the fly, and everyone's going to fall in line with it with no problem. That's where Lady Gaga's artistic ability and technical ability lies. She's extremely well-rounded as an artist.
I think
she is, but I don't think I wouldn't trust Taylor in the sound booth.
my understanding is that's where she grew
I
up.
mean, she could produce, but I don't know how she is.
All right, so
behind a console.
Right. So just real quickly, like I think all three of us agree Prince could be by himself behind a console, mixing his stuff, doing whatever. Like he could be the only one. Right. And you're saying you don't believe Taylor could be in a studio by herself and produce a finished song.
She could produce. I don't think when it comes to the engineering, she still has to rely on an audio engineer.
Okay.
Whereas I think Lady Gaga could sit next to the audio engineer and act as his assistant.
Why do you think that?
I don't have a solid answer.
It's intuitive. Yeah.
From what I've seen and what I've heard interviews and what I've seen and heard from other people who have worked with her, she is very, very knowledgeable of the technical side, along with the performance side and the producing side and the writing and the arranging.
And the theatrical cues.
Yeah. She is, I would say she is the current Prince.
Got it. So let's take this and expand it another layer, and then we'll wrap the conversation up soon. The complexity of events that occur in a concert. An event might be the hit of a snare or the issuance of 4 bars of harmony, a guitar solo. This is an event in the way I'm describing it. When you take the complexity of a live musical performance in the context we've been discussing it, and now what is the distinction between that and a film soundtrack, a film mix? Those boards have sometimes up to 160 or 170 channels going all at the same time. Have you ever had the opportunity to look and participate in that environment?
When we do candlelight, I know that our channel numbers are anywhere between 112 to 144 channels that we're running.
So in a film environment, you've got events like a car screeching tire along with someone giving dialogue. And so the EQ profiles that blend all of those things together so that they all hit right where they're supposed to, that's a level of complexity right there.
Yeah. That's something I would love to put myself into that environment for a day or two, to just be able to go. And at this stage in the game, I just want to do it to see, can I do it? That's my new challenge. Could I do it? But do I want to get, if it was a feature film and whatnot, would I want credit? Do I want to be putting? No, because I don't feel I would be at that at that caliber to justify being credited.
Well, and they end up at the end of the process, right? So all of the edit, all of the cut, it's like that. The sound mix is one of the last things that's final.
Yeah.
In that stuff. And the pressure is on because there's a release date, there's marketing, right? I mean, we're talking about one of the most complicated audio engineering problems that's compressed into one of the tightest timelines, right?
And you have your main and I don't think anyone's truly an A1 on that, but you do have, there would be an A1 and everyone else is essentially an A2, but I would say each A2 has their own say, like an A1 for their section.
Right. Sound effects, music, ADR.
Because I know in that aspect, I want to say with Skywalker, I may be wrong, please correct me. Typically, there's minimum 3 people on the console for a major film.
I don't have
sometimes
any knowledge about that.
Sometimes more.
I've never been there to witness it. I only know what I read in the credits.
I would absolutely. That's one of my meccas that I would love to do is go see Skywalker Sound.
Got it.
That is because I remember. The original name was something Sprockets.
Yeah, Sprockets. That's it.
Just Sprockets. Okay. Yeah. That's how well I know. I mean, I still don't know deep history of Skywalker Sound, but I know the useless trivia stuff.
Yeah.
Someone had to do the math to know how many sprocket holes would be SMPTE for a 24 frame segment time. And that is some serious math right there.
And that was all part of the logo, part of the key to the logo. And I couldn't tell you how many holes were in the sprocket in the logo. I just know it's essentially the SMPTE time code sprocket became the logo. And then it became Skywalker Sound.
So are there any geeky mad scientist elements you do at home with audio that you like just diving into for fun and pleasure, experimentation?
Not really. I mean, I try and go straight forward with the podcast. With my mixer, I have an effect where I can do a pitch shift, make my voice either higher or lower, and I do that every now and then. Obviously, running a soundboard with different sound bites, do that as well. Other than that, I really don't do much. I mean, the closest I came to doing any experimentation is when both Mighty Marvel Geeks and Wookiee Radio, we hit episode 404, Well, I turned that episode into a very quick 1 to 2 minute error
Error mess.
because
That's
both
geeky.
shows now we have on our soundboard almost like a sidekick like Jarvis from Mighty Marvel Geeks. We kind of went the Friday route from when Jarvis then became Friday. Ours is called Thursday because we record on Thursdays. And we have a breakdown of what each letter of Thursdays stands for. For Wookiee Radio, we have an RX droid that we bought for the show. And his name is RX-J7, but we call him J7. And he looks exactly like the RX droids that you see at Star Tours. That's where we got the idea from. Is we bought one of those droids, not realizing we may have had a defective one, like RX. Was it RX-20?
I don't.
RX-20 something. I don't remember.
But what was the
I
thing?
now know he's DJ Rex in Oga's Cantina.
What was the thing in Hitchhiker's Guide? Wasn't that robot?
Marvin?
Yeah,
Marvin.
Marvin. He was
The paranoid android.
paranoid. That's it. Yeah.
And I loved the BBC miniseries, but I also loved Warwick Davis's his even though he didn't do the voice, just his performance in the suit for Marvin was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Have you ever gotten an opportunity to interview Warwick?
Have not. I want to. He's on the Star Wars side. He is definitely one of the people up there. Another one, and it's more for me, but my co-hosts I know they would absolutely love it as well. The other one is the person who's my inspiration for becoming an audio engineer, and that's Ben Burtt.
Yeah.
I would love to have Ben on the show. I've had conversations with him at Star Wars Celebration. And the first time I met him, it was that typical Star Wars celebrity guest. And when I mentioned I was an audio engineer and he was my inspiration for becoming an audio engineer, level ground. And the conversation we had, and then Matthew joined in. It was like, oh, this is...
You mean Matthew Wood?
Matthew Wood. I would, if I thought if they said I had to pay $50 for that conversation, I would have paid $50 for that conversation. I really would have at Celebration. And then 2 years later to go back, and of course the first time I was clean shaven because Disney didn't allow facial hair. 2 years later, allowed facial hair, and for Ben to recognize and remember who I was and that I worked at Disney just took my respect of that peerdom that much more. I'm like, yeah.
He's a very good human being. Every interaction I've witnessed and the few that I've had in conversation with him, that man was one of the really important elements of Star Wars success. And he is such a cool, relaxed, friendly, warm-hearted, good man.
Yeah.
We're all so blessed to benefit from the work he's done over the years and continues to do.
Yeah. And the reason why I say inspiration is, and this is what I told him, I said, you're not my idol. That's my parents and grandparents. You're not my mentor because I never worked for you. You're not my role model because again that falls back with the idol with my parents, but you are my inspiration.
Nice.
And heavily you inspired why I got into this business.
It's beautiful.
So I will always say he's an inspiration. Anyone who, I don't know who Zoe turns to as an inspiration for wanting to get into sportscasting.
That's Zoe's your daughter.
Zoe's my daughter. But I've never asked either. So I got to ask that question. Who's your inspiration? I'd be curious to know if it's multiple people. But a lot of me getting into the industry is because of Ben. And I kept that inspiration of this is why. So for me, as much as I would love to also get Kevin Smith on We Be Geeks, Ben Burtt on either We Be Geeks or Wookiee Radio would definitely be one of my Mount Rushmore guests.
Got it. What a fantastic thing to know. So if you're listening, Ben, or if you're listening, Silent Bob, reach out to Mike.
Whatever ears are listening that could help make a Ben Burtt interview happen, please reach out at webegeekspc@gmail.com. Sorry for the plug, but
That's I'm going to throw it out there. We definitely want you to have the plug. That's why you're here for sure. I think this is a great place to wrap it up. I think what we've proven is that you are an endless fountain of wonderful conversation, which is probably why you run a podcast collective, because it's hard, there's no way to just end the conversation other than to decide that's what we're doing. And that's what we're doing right here.
And it's just like the reason why I renamed my YouTube channel to the Swiss Cheese Chronicles.
Right.
Because I'm a little bit of everything.
Beautiful.
And there's holes everywhere.
Back to the Beatles. There's a hole.
Hi, my name's Mike.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Mike. And we have one final question that we're going to ask you. And I know Greg is super happy that we're going to ask it. Eminem or Foo Fighters?
Well, I answered this the right way last time. Now I'm going to answer it my way. My way is Pink Floyd.
Teacher, leave them kids alone. All right, real quickly then, Pink Floyd. Marmalade. Do you like marmalade?
Depends on the flavor. But Pink Floyd, a lot of people give the same response for a favorite album or albums. For me, I have two favorite albums. Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Saucer Full of Secrets.
All right.
Piper is the only album that Syd Barrett sang on. Was also recorded at the same time Sgt. Pepper was being recorded on the opposite end of Abbey Road Studios. And Doug Gilmour does appear, I don't think he's credited, but he does appear on a couple songs to fill in for guitar. And then Saucer Full of Secrets is the first album. It's the only album where the songs are written by Syd, but he doesn't perform, and that's the first full album that David Gilmour appears on.
All right, but is Bike on Piper? I've got a bike you can ride.
I think so. Okay. I think so. If it's not on Piper, it's on Saucer.
All right.
I know it's on one of those too.
All right.
We
need a third.
I literally had my finger on the button when Greg was like, "One more."
I know.
I was this close from chopping you off right at that moment, but fortunately, I didn't. Because wow, what a great tidbit! God rest his soul.
Yeah, and let's do a part 3. That's all about Pink Floyd because I could do deep into Pink Floyd.
Right. Well, the song "Wish You Were Here" is about Syd. And so is Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yeah.
That whole album was a Syd tribute.
and apparently Sid appeared as this weird old man in the studio when they recorded "Wish You Were Here," and or was it Dark
Yeah.
Side? Anyway, yeah. And they're
Yep.
like, "Who's this guy?" And it was Sid, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
Yep.
Recording
Mark,
stopped.
go